Thank you.
Okay.
Hey, everybody. Wow, this is awesome. Thank you so much. Check, check, check. Am I there? There I am. Hey, thank you, everybody. This is really, really awesome, and I am so happy to be here. For lack of a better term, I don't like categories and labels, but they call me a social media activist. I think that fits best because I only have two gifts. I'm loud and pushy, and that fits really good with social media. But basically, my work is making everybody known. Besides pushing the wrong button. We live in a world today where a 22-year-old nanny using social media can change Bank of America. Whether you go to a restaurant and you like it or don't like it, you put it up on social media. If it gets enough traction, things have to change. We have the power. The consumer has the power. But in homeless services, nothing has changed. These are photos or drawings from 1890 homeless services. This is a picture of the winter shelter in Los Angeles last year. No homeless person, if you ask them, ever said, hey, would you put me in a room with 100 other people and give us cots and maybe have one bathroom with 2 stalls and 1 shower and then kick us out every morning at 5 o'clock in the morning, even when it's raining? Would you do that? Because that will cure my drug addiction and my mental illness. But that's exactly what we do. We don't listen to homeless people. A majority of my work is basically making everybody known. If you had 3 wishes, what would they be?
What would they be? That's a good one. I don't know. 1, not to be homeless. 2, that the system would be changed so people like me don't end up where we are and stay where we are. And 4, I don't know what my 3rd wish would be. For everybody else to get their wishes.
Yeah. Jeff said something so, interesting, that the system would change so people wouldn't end up homeless and they would stay out of homelessness.
They're in and out of emergency beds. There's at least 2. Well, we're talking about, you know who they are, Danny and Tommy. Yeah. They're up next. I'm telling you, they're gonna die. And there's other cases we don't know about. There's a guy named Chad. He was a native guy. He looked pretty healthy. You know him? Yeah. And he killed over. He was with his girlfriend, wife, whatever, Diane, Sure. And she was pretty shook up already. I thought, man, she's walking with a cane, she lost 1 eye, and she's pretty sick looking, I was worried about her. And then he died. And Chad was a friend of mine. I liked him. He was a nice guy.
How many friends have you had that died in the last year?
In the last year? I'd say conservatively 6.
Wow.
But it could have been a couple more. But it's going to continue.
It is going to continue. People are literally dying on the streets. And even if you don't have a heart to change, and I believe we all do, we're compassionate. On average, there was a report in 2007 in Calgary, it's $135,000 per homeless individual to keep them on the streets. You're paying for that. You're paying for the people dying. Out of your taxpayer money, you're paying for them. See, we don't need to listen to a politician or a doctor or some professor that did some research. We need to listen to our neighbors that are on the street.
Well, I've had problems with alcohol and drugs for a number of years now, and I got to the point where it was unmanageable, so I went into detox and did a brief stint in detox. I did a 7-day detoxification, and since then have been struggling to find affordable shelter because of the very, very high cost of living in Vancouver, and having trouble finding gainful employment. So what I've resorted to is panhandling from time to time to come up with shelters when there are no beds available at the shelters downtown.
There's a huge crisis of affordable housing throughout Canada. Just a little background, your government actually invited me to travel to 24 cities. So all these stories today are from Canadians in Canada. And, in the 80s, we had affordable housing. There was rooming houses and the YMCAs and YWCAs and places for people to stay. I mean, I call Los Angeles home, and there's signs for new condos starting at $1.3 million. The inner cities are not building low-income housing, and that's a crisis that we seriously need to address.
We go around pick empties. My brother used to come in here and help me. Let's go for empties. Okay, so we hit the bins. Then people do give us empties. And so we've been making our money since then. And then people come by, or even at A&W, they'll come over and give me $20, $10 to eat, and that's what we do. We buy something to eat, and then we just keep on doing what we do best. And we've been doing this. I've been doing this for 8 years, and then I went indoors and I quit drinking for a year. And then I fell off. Went 4 months, and then I went back on the wagon, and then. But I still went out and picked. We call it picking.
I fell in love with the Aboriginal culture. One of the highlights of my own life was about a year ago. There was a naming ceremony, and I received an Aboriginal name. You know, here's JR. And he said something really important here. He said he went inside and started drinking. I mean, we always judge homeless people and we say, oh my gosh, they're drinking a beer and they're drug addicts. Well, if you're going to the bathroom behind a dumpster in a McDonald's parking lot, you might as well have a beer. You know what? Life sucks, and I'm not advocating for alcoholism. I have 16 years sober. I'm saying put it in perspective. You know, we often say, well, I gave him $1 and he went in and bought a beer. They lied to me. Enron. Oh my gosh, you know, talk about people lying. They have zero money. They're trying to survive. And in the Aboriginal culture, you have these gorgeous people that used to hunt and fish, and now they're picking empties. I mean, and I'm getting emotional just thinking about that. Amy,
Hello. Hello.
you're homeless.
Yeah.
Tell me about it.
It sucks.
Gosh, how old are you?
22.
And
I just came from Ontario, so
And where are you sleeping?
in a tent somewhere.
How long have you been homeless?
Probably about a month now.
How did you end up on the streets?
Well, I was living in a place at a home first, but I got kicked out halfway through because I couldn't control what I said or did. So
And why is that? You told me you haven't
I have ADHD, OCD, a learning disability, a listening disability, and anxiety.
You shouldn't be living in a tent.
No. I know I'm smart, but I can't see it. I don't know why.
So what's your future like?
Sucks.
A 22-year-old homeless girl saying her future sucks. She also said homelessness sucks. I mean, I want to hug her. I mean, low self-esteem, low self-worth plays a huge part. The foster care, she was in a home, and mental illness. These are things that we seriously need to address. Homeless youth is, throughout Canada and America, is growing, and it's a crisis.
I came here 3 years ago, because this is supposed to be a diamond capital of Canada, I guess, or North America, or the world maybe. I don't know, but that's what they say anyways. And I came here because I'm a carpenter. I came here. I don't got no qualifications or no tickets or anything like that, to say I am a carpenter, but because I got no tickets, it's hard for me to get a job as a carpenter.
Yeah, no certificate.
Yeah, but back home, I don't even have to look for my job. My job usually comes find me.
After this interview, he was holding a cup of alcohol, and he says, it's killing me. The Aboriginal culture, again, it's just a beautiful culture. And in homelessness, it's just, proportionately wrong. There's just way too many Aboriginal out on the streets. And here they're coming into the cities. This happened to be Yellowknife. And, we all, everybody gets, I moved from a small town to Los Angeles. We get the lure of the big city. But we have to have some way of adopting their culture, of embracing it. Instead of trying to be, we all did the residential schools. Instead of them trying to be like us, we have to embrace them. They're going to come, and we have to love on them and figure out a way of getting them into society. Yeah. So what's the solution? How do you get people off the streets?
Find a place to live. First start. Gotta find someplace to live. Not this Bailey house. Good shit they're talking about there. They started all of a sudden getting programs and then piss test you and stuff. I don't mind all that, but still, it's not fair. It was supposed to be open for everybody anytime. Any homeless man to go down there, they're supposed to be able to go down there and sober up and do their whatever. Not go to meetings every damn morning. And that's kind of a joke.
I asked Clayton, what's the solution? He said, find a place to live. Find a place to live. Just so happens this is also Yellowknife. And the Salvation Army built a multi-million-dollar 40-unit facility that is empty. It is empty because we're trying to take the Aboriginal culture and giving them our rules. And it's not going to work because they'd rather stay out on the street, which then we pay for in tax money. We have to listen to their culture. Another thing that happened while I was in Yellowknife is one of the leaders there told me that every year there's a festival. And for 2 weeks, they build and they cook and they have purpose. We have to give people purpose. Otherwise, they're just going to sit out on the streets with no purpose and drink their lives away. It's not that they wanted to be alcoholics. It's not that they wanted to be drug addicts. They just don't have a purpose.
Detox will keep you for 5 or 7 days, and then they want you to hit the streets because treatment usually takes a month and a half to get into, and there's no safe place you can go to stay off the dope for the 6 or 8 weeks. When you're in the mood that you want to get clean, you want to keep it going. You don't want to have these breaks, and they want you to hit the streets for a month, try and stay clean until you get your treatment date, and it's physically impossible. And by the time your treatment dates come throughout, you're already back into full-blown addiction, and the mindset of getting clean is gone.
So I don't know if you got all that. So we put people into detox and they stay 3 to 7 days, and then we put them back out into homelessness. The whole system is not communicating with each other and working with each other. If somebody, to get them off drugs, when I was homeless on Hollywood Boulevard, you would have crossed the street. And people change, and we got to give them a chance. But putting them in a detox and then taking them back out to homeless and saying, oh, stay sober for another month and then we'll help you, is just ridiculous. The system is broken. And you said you were homeless since you were 14?
Yeah, since I was 14, I've been transient in and out of institutions because of the homelessness. I kind of got used to living in jail because I had food to eat, I had a place to sleep. And when I did get out, I wouldn't have a place to go to, so I'd end up back on the street again.
Homeless since 14 and being comfortable in jail. And then again, no place to go. No place to go. She was in the hospital. This is where she's going after she gets out of the hospital. This is where she lived.
The police don't help with that at all. They give tickets that are meaningless because they know that we can't pay the ticket.
Right. Makes no sense.
I mean, 2 days ago I've got a ticket for just standing here at the 7-Eleven for encumbering the sidewalk even though I was standing.
How much is the ticket?
$125.
And how are you going to pay that?
I can't pay it.
So then you get another ticket.
That's right. And eventually you get court summons. And then you have to go to court.
This is happening over and over. I'm not the smartest guy. I really am not. But passing these panhandling laws and finding people that don't have any income doesn't make any logical sense. But the criminalization of homelessness is increasing throughout North America. If you want to solve panhandling, it's housing, jobs, and health services, not filling the courtrooms where we all pay taxpayer money. Donnie, we're out here How warm is it or cold is it?
It's cold.
We're in Calgary, Canada, and you're going to sleep out here in this alleyway. Tell me about it.
Well, I don't like going to the shelters because I always get things stolen. And I can't stay there because I can't be around that many people at night. So I prefer to stay outside. I got a blanket in there, which is pretty warm.
My gosh, but I mean, it's to me, it's going to be down to 0 or something. It's freezing.
Oh, well, a week ago it was really cold and I was still here.
Really? How long have you been out here on the streets?
About 21 years.
21 years. Oh my gosh. My work is to make people known. This YouTube video went up in the Calgary Homeless Foundation, targeted Donnie. Because once you know your neighbors, once you know that Donnie's been out here for 21 years, you got to do something about it. And if I can leave you with anything, it's that homeless people are real people just like us, and we can end homelessness.
There you are. Hi there, Donnie.
Yes.
You're in your new place right now.
Yes.
How do you feel about your new place?
Yeah!
Excellent. Feel after being outside for a while, it feels good?
Oh, it feels too good.
Excellent. Well, we're happy for you, and we wish you all the very best.
I'm happy to be here. I'm happy for you to be here. I'm happy for both of us being happy.
Excellent. Well, congratulations.
This last year, I was able to spend some time with Donnie. I just got a report this week that his cat had kittens. So he's a little bit busy. We can end homelessness. The tools are there. We know the right strategies that work. We got to stop doing what didn't work 100 years ago and start implementing real change. So I'm Hardly Normal on Twitter. The website is invisiblepeople.tv. I get a little chatty on Twitter, so you can always go to Hardly Normal Light, which is Invisible People. Thank you very much for having me. You've been a wonderful audience.